It's that time of year again. We will soon be off to Barcelona, Spain for another Mobile World Congress. Here's what to expect from the big names in Android for the most important mobile show of the year. LG is in the middle of a big shake-up of its mobile business after it decided to hold back a new flagship it was going to announce in Barcelona. In its place, it looks like we'll get a refreshed LG V30. The name doing the rounds is LG V30S. There's said to be a big focus on AI in the new phone because it's 2018 and of course everything is AI now. On the imaging side, LG's Vision AI can automatically detect objects in scenes and serve up the best settings accordingly. Sounds much the same as what Huawei did on the Mate 10 Pro to tweak settings for foods, pets, landscapes and other scenes. In low light, LG says its new AI can also improve brightness by a factor of 2. LG Voice AI adds 9 new exclusive commands to Google Assistant, building on LG's existing partnership for the service. The bigger question is what exactly changes in terms of hardware in the V30S. Will it just be an upgrade to vanity specs, like maybe a bump to 128 gigs of storage or 6 gigs of RAM as standard? Or will updated silicon power LG's new AI features? A V30 running Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 845 might turn a few heads. Also, what about the camera hardware and the POLED display, two areas where you might expect a generational bump for a new product? We'll have to wait a little longer for a few answers there. The Huawei P20 won't be landing until a full month after Mobile World Congress. Huawei has set its own event in Paris for March 27th, where it'll unveil at least 2 new flagship phones, likely with a funky new triple camera setup. But wait, Huawei also has an MWC press conference as well, so in the absence of any big new phone announcements, perhaps we should look at what else Huawei makes: smartwatches, tablets, and laptops. On the Android side, it's been a good long while since we saw new Huawei tablets, so perhaps that's one possibility. Another is a convertible of some description or more laptops, and the company's teaser animation for MWC certainly seems to be hinting in the laptop direction. It's going to be a pretty big show for Sony thanks to new flagship phones showcasing what should be its biggest design change in 5 years. I'm not kidding, the last time Sony overhauled its smartphone design language was back in 2013 with the original Xperia Z. The new Xperia XZ2 and perhaps XZ2 Pro continue the confusing alphabet soup naming convention we've come to expect from Sony, but they're also rumoured to ditch the bezel-heavy, omni-balanced design language of past generations in favour of a more up-to-date look. These new flagship phones are also rumoured to be Sony's first with dual cameras, a trend the company has up until now ignored. Sony has been a real wildcard in smartphone photography up until now, impressing in some areas like slow-mo video, while underwhelming in arguably more important areas like low-light performance. Hopefully a new dual camera setup will bring some much needed improvements across the board. And if there is an XZ2 Pro, perhaps we can expect it to take over the mantle of the old premium line, perhaps with yet another 4K HDR screen. Other specs are up in the air, but obviously you'd expect a Snapdragon 845, likely with a bump to up to 6 gigs of RAM as well. We don't have any 100% confirmed photos of either XZ2 model, aside from this rather dubious shot that surfaced a few months back. After years of giant bezels on Sony phones though, it should be a refreshing change if and when it comes. Asus has teased the Zenfone 5 in its Mobile World Congress event invites, and while we don't have any solid information on what will presumably be a new flagship phone, we've already gotten a good look at what will likely be a more affordable variant of it. Evan Blass has leaked photos of the Zenfone 5 Lite, which will presumably bring some of the main features and design cues of the 5 to a lower price point. The 5 Lite appears to be a glass-backed 18:9 device with dual cameras on both the front and the back. That's right, quad cameras in this device. Blass has also shown us the Zenfone 5 Lite in 3 distinct colours, along with what seems to be a refreshed Zen UI based on Android Oreo for the new models. We're only 6 months removed from the launch of the Zenfone 4 last year, and it's not clear exactly what's coming in the Zenfone 5 proper, assuming that device is even announced in Barcelona. Obvious upgrades would include that 18:9 display and perhaps the standard bumps to CPU and RAM. In any case, it'll be Asus's first big phone launch at MWC, and you'd imagine that means it has something special to show us. Ever since the revival of the Nokia brand, we've been awaiting a true Android flagship from the team at HMD, and we might finally get it at MWC 2018. The long-rumoured Nokia 7 Plus might actually come to market with Android One software and an 800 series Snapdragon processor. Reports from a number of places, including EV-Leaks and OnLeaks, seem to confirm a curved glass design, dual cameras around the back, and an 18:9 aspect ratio. Nokia has kept its software close to stock Android in the past, so codifying that through Android One in this new device certainly makes a lot of sense. After bringing us a handful of competent mid-rangers in 2017, perhaps this will be the new Nokia phone to excite enthusiasts. Certainly looks like it has that all-important combination of stock Android, high-end specs, high-class design, and a potentially great camera. Anyway, we'll find out more in Barcelona very soon. And finally, the big one. MWC is going to be Samsung's show this year, and ultimately the Galaxy S9 might be the only phone we see in Barcelona that really matters in the big picture of the industry. So to recap, we're looking at two new Samsung flagships, a 5.8-inch S9 and a 6.2-inch S9 Plus, mirroring last year's lineup. Same Infinity display style as last time, same 18.5:9 aspect ratio. Both should run Qualcomm's Snapdragon 845 in the US and China, and Samsung's next-gen Exynos elsewhere. This time there'll be a few compromises if you opt for the smaller S9 it seems. Unlike the S9 Plus, the smaller model will reportedly have only 4 gigs of RAM compared to 6 in its big brother, and just a single rear camera, meaning S9 owners miss out on the telephoto lens of the S9 Plus. The camera has been a big focus of Samsung's teasers so far, and while camera improvements are to be expected in any new flagship, there's one change in particular that's piqued our curiosity. Supposedly the S9 will use a variable aperture between f1.5 and f2.4, which should help it more accurately sense depth for portrait shots and live focus. Inevitably, Samsung's also going to have its own version of the iPhone X's Animoji, because of course it will. So we've seen leaked pictures of the S9 Plus series in lilac purple and coral blue so far, and I'd expect a few more colours to be trickled out over the coming months, with the usual mix of carrier exclusives. Oh, and what might be the most important upgrade of all, a fingerprint scanner on the back in a place you can actually reach. Samsung should also be upgrading its face recognition system, which honestly was pretty bad in the S8, so securely unlocking your S9 should be less of a hassle all round. We got so much more S9 coverage on the site and in our rumour roundup video, so check those out for more on the first big flagship launch of 2018. That's it for now. Don't forget to follow Android Central on Instagram for behind the scenes footage from Barcelona, and subscribe here on YouTube for the full hands-on coverage of everything announced at the show. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.